Okay, today we want to talk about the gas laws. So we want to stop for a moment here and just go back and make sure we got some same ideas that we're all agreeing on. So we have been studying ever since matter, and we know matter, it has three states. So we're talking about a gas. A gas, like you find in a balloon, is made up of basically a lot of space, material or atoms that are in very random motion, just kind of bouncing around haphazardly. They can bounce off the wall, they bounce off each other. And then we have also, there's no attraction. So these gas molecules are going to stay as a gas. They're not going to condense into a liquid or a solid. So we're looking at gases, and we're going to talk about how they behave and all the mathematical laws that work with them, okay? So to make the next jump, after we've talked about what a gas is and how it is, we need to talk about the kinetic theory. The kinetic theory is just explaining materials or ideas using atom or molecular motion. So there are three main things to get into the gas laws. We need to talk about temperature, pressure, and volume. Well, to talk about them, we need to talk about atom motion, okay? And it's pretty simple to talk about all three of these using atom motion. What is volume? Volume is the simplest of all. Volume is how much space is between a couple molecules, okay? And if you have more space, you have more volume. So volume is considered space between material, or the atoms. Space between. Okay? Temperature, we just got done teaching in thermodynamics. Temperature is a measure of the motion, or how fast their vibration. So it's the speed of vibration or motion of those atoms. And so if we take a material like this balloon and we heated the balloon up, those particles would move faster. And you know that then the balloon would expand a little bit. So if you've ever been around an inner tube in the summertime, it's really blown up in the sun, but as that inner tube sits there, and maybe into the wintertime, you find it in the garage or a pole barn, the inner tube is softer. It's because the particles are not moving around at the same speed, and so their vibrations are less, and so they don't push against the wall of the system as easily. So there's temperature. So temperature is the speed of the motion of the particles, also really defined as the kinetic theory, the kinetic motion. Okay, so the last one idea I want to talk about is pressure. Pressure is not that difficult. Pressure, we're going to define it as collisions. Okay, so collisions against a container wall. So these air molecules or atoms are bouncing around and they're colliding off the side of the wall of the balloon. And as they collide, they push on the balloon and push it out. If I could get them to push more, they would make the balloon increase in size. Well, that's pretty simple. If I can change the temperature, that would happen. So we're going to consider pressure as all the collisions of a particles against some kind of wall or container. In fact, you're a container, and right now there's pressure on your body. So if I really want to give another simple idea, and you've been exposed to, if we think about sitting here, and here's a mountain, this mountain goes up, and we have all kinds of air particles, and when we know we've experienced this, and we take these particles, and in one area, there is a whole bunch of particles, but as we move up to the mountain, there is less on top of us. So there is a large pressure or a bunch of collisions on top of us. So we live down here, usually in this area, but we do walk up to mountains or we drive up hills, and you notice that your ears will pop. That's because there's less pressure or less collisions or less atoms on top of you as you go up a hill or up into the mountains. Okay, same thing as when you fly in an airplane. So there is going to be less pressure or less collisions, and so your ears have to adjust because inside of your body, you've been breathing in the air from down here, you have more pressure. So we can have pressure changes. So we're going to call it collisions, and we'll talk about that more as we're going on. So there is air on the outside around the balloon, and if the air outside is pushing equal to the air inside, then the balloon stays steady. So that's the idea of the kinetic theory with these three topics, and we're going to keep coming back to them and talking about space changing, the number of collisions changing or increasing or decreasing, or maybe the speed increasing or decreasing. That is the ideas these gas laws were all based upon. Okay?